Welcome to Go For Side Effects. I'm your host, Kevin Simon. You all know my co-host, good-looking John sitting up there. Big John.
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Tonight is roundtable. We all know Wade. Wade, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
And we all know I wear my sunglasses at night, Sarah.
That was right.
I've been wanting to say that all day. All right, so tonight, everybody, we were going to have a family thing. We had some stuff come up because of voting and everything. So we're going to kind of change it around because we want to talk about Veterans Day and what Veterans Day means to each and every one of us. Like this weekend, I will have to give a veterans speech at my church. And last year, I bombed it. I tell y'all what, I bombed that veteran speech like y'all have never seen a person bomb a thing. Second go around, I did okay.
Oh.
But, we're going to go around the horn. I'm going to start with John. John, what does Veterans Day mean to you?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question.
I know.
So many different thoughts. Well, first and foremost, I think of all the brothers and sisters that we've lost. And the thing, because of our military time, for me, I have a tendency to kind of do a rapid replay of my own experiences being in the military. But I'm really thinking about other vets out there that are whether they're successful or not, we all have those hidden issues that some like to talk about and some don't. I just think, what does it mean to me? Just a day of looking back on not only my own life, my dad's life, because he was a Korean War vet, and the people that we're able to help out. The people, the veterans and the families that we've been able to help out. So my thought process has changed over the course of the last couple of years, simply because I'm aware of what we in this group as individuals are able to help others. So that's super important to me.
No, that's awesome. How about you, Wade?
Yeah, I guess for me, it's just a time for me. I'm probably a little bit more selfish than John, but I like to sit back and just reflect about my past experiences. Remember the guys from my unit. Try to reach out, touch, see what's going on. I do like to go to the ceremonies and see the veterans from all the generations. This Friday, I get to go to a memorial presentation, so I'm pretty stoked up about that. And just that camaraderie where we just sit around and talk, and you just feel like you've known the person for your entire life. So I'm just a good day of reflection for me.
Sarah.
Well, Kevin, for me, it's all about the free stuff. That's what Veterans Day.
I like that.
I love you on that one, Sarah. That was freaking awesome.
That was an awesome answer. I like that.
It's a 10% off the free Denny's. But Sarah, come on. You got to, reflect some. Don't say Polaroid cameras.
Veterans Day, I think it's a day for everyone that has served. Whether you gave the ultimate sacrifice and gave your life for our country, or you served and are continuing to serve and are about to become a veteran. I think a lot of times people try to define the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and how we shouldn't be celebrating those veterans that have passed on Veterans Day, because that day is reserved for Memorial Day. But I say, why not have 2 days and celebrate as much as we can for each day? I understand Veterans Day is a national holiday, and that's when everyone else likes to give back to veterans and tell us thank you for raising our right hand and swearing to the oath, so that they didn't have to sign up themselves. But for myself, Veterans Day is a day to relax, to sit back and enjoy and reflect on what I've done over the years, what other veterans have done for me, to understand that my veteran family is extremely important to me, and that if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be here.
I like that. For me, what Veterans Day means, man, I really could probably add a long list to this, but to me, it's about the flag. It's about what we served, what we've done, who we done it with, and who we didn't do it, with at some points. Everybody played their own role. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard, all of us did. We all had our own role out there that we had to do. Without each branch, the other branches cannot make it. I don't care what anybody says. We have the best system. We have the best patriots. I live in the number one largest patriot county in the United States, where everybody has flags up everywhere. They have prayer breakfasts for for patriots. On they build a big honoring. I think it's called Montgomery County Honoring the Veterans. Anybody who has ever served, from all the way from prehistoric, all the way till now. Yeah, everybody in my family has, in generations, has fought in every war, all the way from the Civil War, all the way to now. Even had a great uncle that fought in the Alamo. And so, reflecting back on it for each and every one of us, it's about my time I spent in. It's about the flag, who I served with, people who have served, people who have passed. And it really is. Talking to veterans every day, that's my Veterans Day. And I enjoy it. And speaking of that, the outreach program, I guess I better say that. The Veterans Outreach Program Act on Facebook page is gaining. On YouTube, we reached today 500 subscribers to this show. That's what Veterans Day is about to me. Letting people know what we did over there. What other people did. What they saw with, people who have lost their buddies, remembering them. And Sarah, you nailed it straight on the head when you said we should have two days, Memorial Day and Veteran Day. Just because they pass away, they're still veterans in my eyes. I had buddies who have passed, but tonight, I know the show is live and it will come out later, but tonight is voting. Midterm elections, and everybody should do their due diligence to get out there and vote. I don't care what party you serve, get out and vote. That's why we serve this country. We got the freest elections that I know. Early voting, you're not getting screamed at the polls where I'm at. I don't know about anybody else, but out there. But I'm just saying, everybody should get out there and do their part and vote. What were you going to say, John?
No, I was a couple of things in reference to the voting. I probably in large part because I'm a veteran, and when you're listening to the ads on television, radio, whatever the case is, and we as veterans who have dealt with the VA and understand, what we have or what we don't have because of veterans, and we listen to a radio ad talk about, well, we don't want this person to get in because they want to have government have control over our health care. And I had to laugh immediately. I'm like, clearly you're pushing this out there. The people have no idea. The government's already got control of our health care because of the pharmaceutical industry, in part, large part. And then the other thing I was going to talk about is the veterans. We had Gavin on here the other night, and it was so interesting. And we've had another British gentleman, or at least one other from out of our country who's a fellow veteran. And it's like, we as veterans, when we're out, when we're doing our thing, even today, if we see somebody who clearly, because of what they're wearing or you just know them, they're a veteran, we don't even think about, anything other than, how can I help you? What can we do? How can we make things better if we're working on something? And that's a really close knit community, because I mean, we're a really tight knit community. And I enjoy talking to veterans that are even outside of the continental United States, other foreign veterans. And
that's right. But on top of that, sir, I want to ask you just a couple questions. And being a female that is a veteran, you go park in a parking spot. I think we had Brandy on that said that they look at her really weird. Like, why are you parking in a veteran's parking spot? Do these people don't know that women serve too? I mean, women have been serving in our military, nurses, all kinds of stuff for many years. But as a female veteran and what you have gone through, the stuff that you have seen and done, is there a bigger pride about that for a female's perspective? I've always wondered that.
Absolutely. I think that the sense of pride of just being in the military, of course, and then on top of that, choosing a profession that not very many women do. It's one of those, of course, it's a very male dominant profession, but it's also a career in which it's slightly different in how you get promoted. You can work towards your own promotional goals and be able to achieve them, I believe, a lot more easier in the military than you would in a public societal career. As we've seen, there's a significant difference from the equality of pay and equal rights between the two genders. And so when you think of the military industrial complex, it's a lot like a social or what's the term I'm looking for? A socialist type of democracy where everyone has a set pay based on their rank and they know how to achieve the next rank. And of course, unfortunately, it's a good old boy club in a lot of ways. If you aren't part of that club, it's difficult to get to that next rank or that next position that you'd like to go forward. Obviously, it's based on which MOS you choose. But as that part of the career, it's a lot easier than being in the civilian sector, in my opinion. Of course, when you're in a male dominant career, there's a lot of other things that come into play in any career, really, and it isn't just from male to female. We've seen so many sexual trauma or sexual assaults go from both ways, but in the military there's this a heavy prevalence of that male to female disrespect, that heavy massive disrespect that you're supposed to be serving with this individual that times is your leader and training to go to a war, and this individual violates you in the most horrific of ways. So the military has a long ways to go when we talk
Yes.
about equality and ensuring that our sexual trauma victims are taken care of. And I could go on with the differences between women and men in the military. But with my experience, I I chose a male-dominated career. As a child, I didn't really understand fully what I was getting into, but I'm glad that I made that choice, and it is giving me all the benefits that I have today.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, now Wade, I want you to think about this. You're 17, 18 years old. You're going to the United States military. You know nothing. You know absolutely jack shit.
Less than nothing.
Right. So this is what the military does. I'm going to break it down. This is my view. Military cuts all your hair off, unless you're female, but they cut all your hair off and they make you equal. They break you down. And then they build you up during boot camp, and then they send you out there to make the military, whatever branch you're in, like me, the Navy, what you want it to be. What most people cannot fathom is the equipment that we ran, the stuff that we did in the military. Most people dream about. I mean, being out at sea, shooting a 50 cal gun, badass. Most people don't do that shit. Me running cranes out there unwrapping. People cannot imagine what it's like having a 19-year-old kid as a rig captain sending over cargo, and if anything happens, you have to know what to do in a split second. I mean, so that's the part I'm trying to get to. Saying it about that, Wade, is about like being in the Army. All y'all were in the Army, which I'm very sorry for that. I mean, hey, but that's y'all's choice. But being in the Army.
We didn't care if we got shot at.
Yeah, damn right I did. But at least I'm honest. I'm a honest sissy. All right, I'll be honest. But wait, being out there, and as a kid, could your friends who didn't go in the military even imagine what you went through?
No, they said not at that time, and still even today, they still give me crap about jumping out of airplanes. And you're right, they can't imagine. You tell them, you're jumping into the middle of the night at midnight, pitch black. You're going to hit the ground, throw on a rucksack, 75 plus pounds. Now we're going to walk 10 miles, and then we're going to actually get to work. And you explain that to people, and you show people pictures and different experiences and places you've been and things you've done. And sometimes I wonder if they missed it, or in their mind, if they wish they would have, or if they just thought I was a complete idiot because that's what I did. But either way, I know that.
I can answer that. I can answer that.
Yeah.
Chopper have a perfectly good airplane. I can answer that.
One thing, Kevin, I also want to mention, as being a woman in the military, or a woman veteran, as a woman mother, of course, fathers have to go through a lot of the same things, but I think a woman mother is looked at a lot different in the military than a father, because a mother is expected to be there for their children. A mother is not expected to leave and go off to war. A mother is not expected to do, the things that the nurturer, the mother is expected to be the nurturer and to always be there. And so I know I struggled with it a lot, that mom guilt of looking back at what choices I have made and what I could have done differently. And a lot of those choices are out of our hands. When we're come down on orders, you have to go, or you are going to get in some big trouble if you don't. So that choice as a mother is career versus family. And that choice for me was made for me, being medically retired and forced out of the military at the age of 28, and then trying to determine how then to be a disabled mother, a disabled single mother, and going through that was a very difficult challenge. And then now listening to other mothers that weren't in the military that talk about their struggles as a mother, and they really have no clue what it's like being on active duty as a mother, being pregnant on active duty, and having to go through all of that. So it's hard for me to have sympathy for those other mothers that are proclaiming to have such a difficult challenge, which I understand it is a difficult challenge to be a parent. But try being a parent on active duty, and then
Hey,
let's talk.
you're right. My ex-wife for 20 years, she was a single parent. You know, me and her could have argued and fought over our son, but you know what? We weren't a match. We both knew it, and I wasn't gonna argue with her, and she did it. How she did it, I have no idea. I do commend her for that. Being a single parent in the military is hard as hell. But I mean, and then you got to go off to war. I mean, I remember when she went off to Bosnia. You know, you just don't know what situations that's going to happen whenever you're in. But I mean, like when I know when I went in, I was like, what's the worst that can happen? Nothing. We're at peacetime, no big deal. Hey, you know.
Right.
Yeah, man, I remember when I had to eat them words to say, hey, I'm going to be going somewhere. I can't tell you where you're going. They knew. And then when we ended up declaring war, I got a news article that one of my real good friends of mine, mom sent me. And it was what my mom wrote about having a son off to war. And, you know, I really need to read that one time because in a mom's eye, you know, yeah, we're veterans. I know Veterans Day coming up, but man, you being a mom and sending your kid off to war is a hard damn thing. Not knowing if they're going to come back. I remember reading that, and I mean, I remember I cried reading it. It was a nice thing my mama said to me, you know, and you know, written down. I mean, it was just nice as can be, and. You know, of course, I was dating a girl back here, and, you know, but I was screwed up in the head when I came home. I made a big mistake coming home right after Desert Storm because my head was screwed up. I didn't sleep for a couple of days. And I mean, just that I look back and say, yeah, okay, I could have done things different with certain situations in my life, but everything happens for a reason. You know, are they good reasons? Sometimes. Are they bad reasons? Most of the time. Especially when you go out to a bar in the Navy. It's a bad reason. But, you know, I see a lot of people post on, oh, patriot, be a patriot this. Look, I'm a veteran. I love my country. I love my fellow man. Even if you served or didn't serve, we all fought because we all believed in this country. And we need to get back to that. I mean, I do believe that 100%. But I know, Wade, you were going to say something earlier, so I want you to go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Oh, I probably lost train of thought, but no. For instance, just a perfect example, my neighbor kid is in the process of signing up for the military. And I've been trying to mentor him a little bit and give him, you know, hints here and there, and give him kind of a heads up before he actually gets up to the MEP station. And now this kid, he was a very strictly disciplined kid, not like any kid that I see on an everyday basis. He is highly disciplined. He has, you know, a mother, a father, another sibling, and I respect that in this kid. He's going to be a great troop. Where I look back at mine, it took me going to the military to get that discipline. And I had never had it. I was raised by a single mother. I needed the military for discipline. And now at 50 years old, I've had a few medical and health stumbles here in the last few months, but I truly believe it's from being disciplined back then that I'm able to handle it today. I still get anxieties, but I think the military instills a lot of things that we carry out through the rest of our lives.
Oh,
And
yeah.
kind of like what you said, I was literally engaged. We were actually getting the date changed on the napkins because of deployment. And when I came home, just like you, Kevin, I was just so messed up in the head that, it never happened. I mean, we were literally down to the day, and I basically left. I took off. I wish I did something different, but I didn't,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
that's, it takes a toll.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I know. I know I broke that girl's heart, and I know what I did was wrong. I mean, the only thing I could have done was apologize, but by God, she will never talk to me again. It just happens. But I mean, but they don't put themselves in our shoes. I mean, really and
No.
truly. Yeah. I mean, man, woman. They just don't put it in unless you've been there and experienced it. They don't understand what a 19-year-old that just got back from war is thinking inside their head. It's just true. Now, John, I have a question for you, because now, were you married before you went in or after?
I was the second time, so I had a 1-year break in service. So I was single the first time I went in. The second time I was in, we had the kids over in Heidelberg, Germany. So it's kind of interesting. We're talking about when you're that young, and I was listening to Sarah, and I've never really thought about what a single military-minded woman would go through in the military, and how difficult that would be. Because as she was talking, I was thinking about when I came home from a deployment or whatever, and I walked in the door, and I had noticed before I walked in the door, she had gone out and got a different vehicle. She's telling me about these different things she had done with the kids. And initially I was a little upset. And I'm like, wait a second. Because I was thinking kind of about myself. I mean, you love your family, but you're not thinking about everything that she had to go through. So you have to reverse the thought process. And like, wait a second, why did you buy a different? Because she couldn't drive a stick. And where we were living, there was a lot of uphill bullshit. I mean, literally physically driving uphill. And although she could drive a stick shift, it was easier because she was toting around 2 kids to drive around something that was an automatic. Sounds pretty simplistic, right? But in my mind, I'm like, wait a second, you did what without talking to me? She had to do what was going to work for her at that given point, let her do her thing. And so I know it takes a lot of for lack of a better way to phrase it, a lot of woman strength to do shit that that you got to do, and can't give a shit about what somebody else is thinking, or especially if that other person is in the civilian world and they can't see what the shit is going on in your world. I mean, like, wow. So Sarah, I find it really interesting. You and I haven't really talked that much, and I talked to Brandy a little bit, one time, and she actually didn't like to be thought of as the female in the military. She just wanted to be directed as an individual. She didn't like the idea of being categorized as a female. I'm like, okay. So yeah, that was a long-winded answer. I was single the first time, then married the second.
Right. But think about what the spouse is. I mean, to me, they're veterans too. The ones that, we're there taking care of the kids while you're off to war and doing this. I mean, to me, they're veterans too. And the guy spouse is also that, just to say.
Yeah, but
everybody.
The veteran, the spouse of said veteran, whether man or woman, although our military wants you to think, well, we're going to treat you all the same. You and I, all the veterans, know that individual isn't getting treated like we're getting treated. They want you to, our
Right.
government wants you to think they are, but they're not,
But
you know.
so, so this kid was sitting in my chair the other day, and we were talking about saying the Pledge of Allegiance at school. He goes, "Yeah, they make us at school. They force us." I said, "Well, I mean, they force you. It's not something that you want to get up and do." And he goes, "Well, you know," and I could see the dad going, "Oh my God, I can't believe my kid is saying this to Kevin, the last person he should be saying this to." And I said, "Do you even know what that flag stands for? You know, the
Oh.
13 colonies, you know, the 50 states, you know, you know, the red, you know, forever and
You're going to really
white
do a
purity."
deep dive with this kid.
And I mean, I did. I went into full blown detail about what that flag was. And that kid
Okay.
just looked at me like, I had no idea. They don't teach that anymore in school.
Really?
No.
Wait, they don't tell you what?
They don't tell you what the stripes are, and they don't go into full detail like they used to.
Huh. That I didn't know.
Right. And so
So I don't have kids
I
in
did.
school.
Oh, I went into full detail. And then I went to a little bit more and while I was cutting his hair and as I was chewing his ass, you know, and he was
I'm sure that made him feel good.
Right, but I mean, my thing is whenever I hear somebody sit there and say, you know, they force you, I'm like, look, that flag represents so many things, but think about the people who died for it, who served for it, who came home injured, who came home, you know, not just with PTSD, but go for illness or vaccine injuries or anybody out there who has ever served that's been injured in some way. That flag means a lot to me. That flag does. I'm telling y'all, that flag means a lot to me. One flies in front of my house every day. And I have my Navy flag. I don't want to put that up. I got a couple of Marines that live close by. I'm afraid they'll come over and do something to it. But no, go ahead, John.
No, so in reference to the flag and reveille and retreat, because I know how the Army works, but I don't know how the Navy works in a lot of respects. But when you're on ship, you're out to sea. Is there a reveille? Is there reveille and retreat? Is there? I mean,
6 o'clock.
How do they handle the beginning of the day versus the end of the day on a ship?
6 o'clock in the morning it goes up. 6 o'clock at night it goes down.
So reveille. They do take it down?
Oh yeah, they take it down.
Really?
Yep.
They don't shine a light on it? Well, of course you're out to sea, and if
no,
okay.
Nope.
You're not flying a flag all the time on board a U.S.
Nope. They take it down day and night.
That's interesting. I had no idea, but I thought I gotta ask because I don't know.
I've only had to put it up twice. You get in your dress uniform, you go out there, you put it up. Nobody can see you while you're out at sea. It's like, why don't we just do it on our dungarees?
Wait, they make you put on dress uniform when you put it up? What?
I had to, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
And
no, we were.
And our you know, one thing about it, our commanding officer also flew the Texas flag. It's just as high as he did the American flag. And I remember somebody saying, well, you can't do that. And he goes, let me tell you something, son. Texas is the only one that fought their independence besides the United States. I was over there looking at that guy going, shut up, man. Don't just shut up.
Shut the hell up.
But a lot of people don't know about the Texas, you know, fighting their own independence and winning and everything because they don't learn Texas history. And they don't now these days for some reason in school. But that's what patriotism, veteran, all that means to me. My brothers and my sisters. We didn't look at any female any different than we looked at a man. At all. Were you on board our ship, you were a sister. You Yeah, you were a brother. We did what we had to do. We were out there, and I talked to almost every single one of my shipmates today.
I know we don't treat them any different, but I can tell you this. The first time I was in charge of female, it was the most embarrassing thing because we had to go through inventory.
You told her
And
to shave her mustache.
No, but when you're going through, when you're a guy in the military in charge of women and you got to go through the
Inspection.
undergarments, it's rather unnerving.
Yeah,
It
okay. I can see that. You wore undergarment?
What's that?
Did you wear undergarment? Is that what you just said?
Oh, now wait a second. Now hold on. Hold on, Chief. No, stop. Back up. Rewind. Stop. And you can't edit this shit because that you're trying to stop. Somebody bail me out. Wait, Sarah, God bless it. Chime in.
Well, it wasn't that great for us females either, having to do inventory with the males. I'm sure you can only imagine how some of
you're
y'all
talking
didn't
about
wash
inventory.
very
No.
well.
Oh, don't play dumb.
So I got stripes.
The undergarments, when you're having to go through an inventory and see what they have, what they're supposed to have.
No. Seriously, I did not know. I swear, I did not know when you said, you didn't say inventory. I didn't hear that inventory. And I'm sorry, John. I apologize.
Did I say inspection or what? I don't know how. Sarah, wait, how'd I phrase it?
I'm enjoying the hell out of this, John.
Wasn't it they do like a CIF inspection? So, you got to have 6 pair of socks, six t-shirts, 6 underwear.
Yeah, that type of
Something
thing.
like that.
Oh, they made y'all do
They
that?
got bra and underwear. And a lot of times you got things mixed in with it.
Yeah, and you have to you have your wall locker, and your wall locker has to be laid out. And
Oh my God, that would be embarrassing.
Yes, it was. Especially when they have the civilian stuff mixed in with the military stuff.
I mean,
and they're wearing some, and you're looking at some of the lingerie, and if you're a dude, you got to keep your wherewithal.
I am not editing this. I just want y'all to know that. But I mean, but sit back and think about how many of y'all keep up with your. I know with John it was hard because he got thrown into a company. But Sarah, do you keep up with a lot of your military buddies?
No, not as close as I would have liked. I am on Facebook. We're acquaintances. We talk every once in a while. We keep up on each other's families. There was a couple of women I was pregnant with at my first duty station that we were still Facebook acquaintances. So it's kind of neat to see how their children have grown along as mine, because we were pregnant at the same time on active duty and going through a lot of those same things. They both ended up getting out sooner than I did. But yeah, we still stay in touch.
No, that's good.
The last supervisor I had, we're friends or acquaintances on Facebook. He was my supervisor as I was going through the war. What is it? The medical board process.
Okay. How about you? I know Wade, you do, right? You keep in touch with quite a few.
Yeah. We got our. It'll be the first one, but we have a reunion next week. And so far there's 30 guys signed up. I've never in a unit serving with females. Went to different classes and schools with females, but in the infantry at the time, there was no females allowed. So, it was just, I dated girls from the medical units, and they have a whole another world over there versus infantry units. And so I'm kind of curious to see how this whole reunion is going to go over and see everybody. And it's not like I talk to them every day, but we got our own Facebook group and kind of keep up what's going on. And, I get to, stay in touch. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I keep in touch with everybody. So after this program, John's going to kill me. But anyway, he's over there going, you wait till I call you.
Well, see, the thing is, I couldn't see Sarah's face or Wade's face because I can only see you and I when I'm talking because I don't have
Well, it's probably a good thing because no, I'm not going to say. But anyway, so but one thing about it is, we got to hear with this round table that this is our round table group. I wouldn't want it any other way. I mean, we got Wade. I mean, I know all y'all are Army, and it's making me respect. I'm even wearing Army green. Look at that shit. But I mean, we have great
that
talks
because
and
you're
everything.
colorblind. Your wife told you it was olive drab green, or
Yeah, well, I mean, the navy blue didn't look that good on me today.
okay.
But I mean, Wade, Sarah, I mean, y'all complete this round table, and I really appreciate everything y'all do for it. And Sarah, I appreciate you doing a lot with your community. And I mean, I really hope that with everything coming up, it goes really good. But, Wade, do you got any final thoughts?
I guess, and I'm sure I'm probably not alone. There was a question I wanted to ask, but I kind of want to get your guys' input on, we're coming up on Veterans Day, and kind of how you feel when a perfect stranger says, thank you for your service. And I'll start, but I personally, and don't take this wrong, this is just me, I personally consider that the same as somebody telling me happy birthday that doesn't know it or doesn't know me. I'd rather people not say thank you for your service, buy me an iced tea, whatever, shake my hand. No words need to be spoken. I don't need to be thanked for anything, but I just kind of feel it's very impersonal. The last time I was at dinner for Veterans Day, the girl I was with actually told the server, don't tell him thanks for his service or he won't tip you. And she didn't. And she got a hell of a good tip. I was very impressed. I didn't know the girl I was with actually told her. So, it was kind of a surprise.
Sarah?
So I was just curious on how you guys felt about that.
How about you, Sarah?
Well, I always tell them thank you for your support, and then I'll either give them my business card or I'll tell them how they can continue to support our veterans and all the different ways that they can show their support.
John?
The
That's
truly
awesome.
service,
Yeah. John?
If somebody says that to me, I say thank you, my pleasure. That's about all I say. It was my pleasure. That's about all I say.
I normally say, you know what, you don't have to thank me. It was my pleasure. I loved it. I wouldn't have traded it for the world. As I made the mistake of I said it in front of my wife, I said the best 4 years of my life. I made big mistake saying it, but she understands now why. It changed me. It made me the man I am. So I just tell them, hey, you don't have to thank me. I loved it. But I tell them
you
thank you back.
Shit crazy before that?
Oh no, I wasn't bad shit crazy before that. Well, yeah, I was. Sarah, you have any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you so much, Kevin, Wade, and John, for having me on this roundtable. It's always a pleasure. I think this is a great tool, as of many that are out there, to give veterans the information that we need. Those Gulf War era veterans, we have a lot of military toxic exposures that are causing some serious medical conditions. So if you feel that you are experiencing the different medical conditions that are listed on the VA's public health website, please reach out to one of your fellow veterans, reach out to the VA, reach out to someone so that you can feel you can feel less alone, that you can be understanding of what you're going through. There are people out there that are working hard for you to make change, positive change in the system. And that is the only way that we get change in the VA is through Congress and mandating that they do what they need to do and ensuring that we get the benefits that we earn. So thank
Amen.
you, Kevin. Thank you, everyone, for all that you do for our community.
Oh, you're so welcome. I couldn't do it without my buddy John.
Well, I
John, you
appreciate
got any last words besides I want to kill Kevin?
No, we just each flip each other shit back and forth. I appreciate Sarah and Wade. You guys are awesome. And obviously, Kevin, you're all phenomenal people. And I really need to take a hard lesson from you, Sarah, on putting stuff on Facebook, because I'll be good one day and then I drag my feet, because I think you do a phenomenal job of posting things out there for fellow veterans and whatnot. And no, I just be sure and hang tight after we're off live, folks, because need to talk about a couple of things. But no, I just great. I always really look forward to every podcast, but especially Sarah and Wade when you guys are on. It's always informative and pretty entertaining because we flip each other's shit so much.
And I'm going to leave it to the last word for everybody watching and listening. I want to thank everybody. Come together. Go to the outreach, Veteran Outreach Program Act on Facebook. Join it. Let's start getting information together. Love one another. It doesn't, I don't care, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, any of it. All of us are one. We all served. We all lost someone's. And most importantly, we're all together. This is veterans connecting with each other. That's what we need to focus it on. Is all of us being as one, understanding, and I thank every listener out there, even the people who haven't served that support this podcast. I want to thank all of y'all, because without y'all, we wouldn't be doing this. And I mean, with y'all's help, we're going to reach one American at a time and one veteran at a time, and we're going to start helping them understand what happened to everybody over there during the Gulf War and off of the war with vaccine injuries. And I want everybody to look towards England and the UK. Pretty soon, y'all going to start hearing stuff out of there about the Gulf War and about vaccines. And I think it's very important for everybody to pay attention to it. But I want to thank and love y'all. I really appreciate everything y'all do for us. And y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Go For Side Effects. If you have any stories you would like to share or just have any comments or questions, please email me at kevinsimon@goforsideeffects.com. Just to let all of our listeners know, we have opened an online store. All proceeds will go to helping veterans connect. The link will be in the description below.